Um, you're supposed to stop using tapers at about a 2. Um, actually, some people say a 4 or a 2, 0 max, but it just depends on what your ears will tolerate. And anyways, um, because it's just such a dramatic difference that it does, it's really easy to blow your ears out. And um, I'd never had any problems with them, so I was like, well, fuck it, I'll try it, see what happens. So I pushed the taper through, and I got to about here on it with absolutely no problem whatsoever. Because right there is like where it starts to really taper, and then there's just like this boom. I don't know if you can really see, but there's like right in here, there's pretty much like a straight edge where it's like, bam, I'm automatically a 0. Like there's no gradualness to this, and even if there was, it's still a huge jump. But anyways, I got it to there without no problem, and then I started to push just a little bit, and it fucking hurt. But I pushed a little bit more, and it kind of chilled out, and it wasn't that bad. And I kept pushing and kept pushing. And I just wanted to see how hard it was going to be. And it started to really, really hurt me. And, like, I literally, the second I decided, like, I should stop doing this before I blow my ear out, it fucking popped through. Yeah, popped through this ear. And I was like, oh shit, like, okay, it worked. So I'll just, go fucking put my tunnels in. But, and then I was feeling it, and I felt the back of my earlobe, like, like if you rub your finger down flat, back of your earlobe, I felt the skin, like, curve out, like, back here. Like, fucking O-rings are my way. Like, it's flat, and then it fucking curved this way, like, onto the taper. Like, my skin was pushed back onto the taper. So, basically, it was blowout, and that means that this taper pushed the inside of my fucking ear through the back of the hole in my ear. Like, ripped it open. And that's why you can't really see it as much anymore, but this hole is kind of teardrop shaped. It's not really that bad anymore since I've let it heal up for almost a month now. And because it is a somewhat small size, I mean, it's not small, but, it's not huge. Um, but I let it close up, so I mean, it's getting better. But anyways, yeah, it was bad. It was a blowout. And then it was like bleeding. It was really, really painful. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, you could have just fucking put your tunnels in and kept it and it would have healed okay, but that's not what you're supposed to do because, like, that blowout will heal that way and you will always have that fucking little flap of skin hanging off the back of your ear. Like, granted, okay, if you put in, like, double flare jewelry, it might somewhat cover it up, but first of all, it's going to make your jewelry not fit as good, especially if it's not, these, like, screw on, but if it's just, like, a double flare, like, acrylic plug or glass or something solid thing that doesn't screw, it's going to be really difficult for that to sit in there right, and it's ugly, and it's gross, and it's bad. It's just bad. And so, I downsized, and I put my tube back in. And I really probably should have downsized to a 4, but I just put my tube back in, and it's totally fine now. So then I let that go for about 3 weeks, so then I'd had it done for about a month. And then I decided to try one more time with the tapers, and since I fucked this ear up a couple weeks ago, I was like, well, I'll start it on my right ear since it's, been healed longer and whatever, technically. And so I got these tapers, again, the same pair, and basically had the same mentality of, I'm going to push it through and see how it goes and see how it feels, and I feel like they're ready to stretch now, so it should be fine. And this time, I pushed it through, and it didn't even fucking hurt. Like, it didn't hurt, like, really at all. So it wasn't that bad. So I fucking pushed it, well, it was this side, I pushed it through, and the only point that it really hurt was like the initial right when it popped through, but it didn't hurt before that, you know, but right when it popped through it hurt really bad. And that was pretty intense. And then I was like, alright, you know, this worked, maybe it's ready to fucking, you know, I'm really ready to be at this size now. And I pulled the taper up because I wanted to check before I put the jewelry in, because I felt it and I didn't feel a blowout. It didn't feel like there was a blowout at all. And so I pulled the taper out and I was like, well, I'm just gonna fucking check it, make sure it's okay before I go put jewelry in it. And if it's alright, then, you know, I'll put the taper back in and transfer. And I took it out and it looked okay at first, and then I started feeling it and all of a sudden it started bleeding. I was like, God damn it. Like, really? It didn't even fucking hurt. There's no blowout. Like, there's no. I don't know if it's still technically called a blowout. I don't know why it would be, because there was no skin back here, nothing. Like, it looked totally normal. It felt totally normal. It was just bleeding. But it's not supposed to bleed. So I cleaned my ear and I put my tubes back in. And that was about 2 weeks ago now, something like that. So now I've been at a tube for about, about a month and a half. And make it even better, then there was a night about a week ago when, at some point in my sleep in the morning, this plug fell out, and I never noticed it until I go with my boyfriend on his paper route every night. He has like a 97-mile freaking paper route that he does third shift every night. Crazy. So we were sleeping like during the day, and then we get up at night to go do his paper route. And at some point, like halfway through the route, I just reached up and felt my, like, I think I scratched my face or something, and I felt my ear, and I was like, what the fuck? My plug is missing. And I like searched the car. We pulled over on the side of the road, searched the car, couldn't find it, and I took this plug out and I just kept like alternating it back and forth between both ears the whole ride, because this plug had to have been out for at least 5 or 6 hours. That's if it fell out like right at the beginning of when I was leaving, or I mean the end, like right before we left. So, but anyways, so I freaked out. We ended up like going back to my house after they're out, and I got those Batman these fours, because I don't have any more 2 gauge. I don't have any more 2 gauge anything besides tapers. And so I was like, I'm not gonna walk around with tapers in my ears. I don't have any more plugs, so I just put my fours back in. It's like I'll just downsize until I get more plugs, and then I'll stretch back up. And so I did that, and then I left them in there only for like a day, and then I went back to his house and he's like, maybe your plug's in the bed. So we were like shaking out the blankets and shit, and the plug fell on the floor. But there was an O-ring missing. So I was like, cool, I downsized for nothing. So I kept the fours in for like a couple more days. I think I only kept them in for seriously like 2 more days. And I took an O-ring off of one of my tapers, and I just stretched back up to twos, and I just stretched back up to twos like, 2 or 3 days ago. So it's been insane. Like, this size has given me so much shit. Like, I've gone up and down like fucking 4 times already with twos. So, anyways. So that is my journey. I'll show you this though. When I do finally get up to this size, which I'll tell you in a second how I'm going to do that because I'm not using tapers, I'm super duper excited. I have my first pair of steel tunnels. These are zeros. And they're finally a legit, not baby size. So, and then they're double flared, but like the one side screws off. So they're super easy to put in. So, anyways, that's what I'm going up to. I told you that I'm not going to use tapers to get to zeros, because when I realized when I tried to do that before, and my ear didn't blow out or anything, but it was bleeding, is clearly that's just telling me that, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at you, I'm like putting all this shit back in its little like containers and stuff, but anyways, that just told me that clearly I am at the size right now where just my ears and the elasticity of my ears they just won't tolerate tapers anymore. And I don't need to be doing that blunt of a change, like that dramatic of a change at one time. So, what I'm going to do is start using the taping method.